Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Silverstone for race 1 in the Trofeo Pirelli Ferrari Challenge. The car's about to be released onto the track for this first 30-minute race in the Ferrari Challenge. This weekend, it's part of the Ferrari Racing Days, of course, the 70th anniversary of the magnificent Ferrari celebrating here in the UK. As you can see, we've been to Valencia, Monza, Budapest, Le Castellet. Still to come, we have that brilliant Italian circuit, Imola, and then the World Finals, the Finale Mondiale to come in Mugello right at the end of the season, towards the end of October. Who will be on top of the championship come the end of the calendar? Well, we'll get a little closer towards knowing that after the two races for the Trofeo Pirelli cars today. This Silverstone circuit then, with the BRDC clubhouse behind us. You can see we are situated in the United Kingdom. Welcome to a home race if you're a UK fan and a UK driver, the like of Sam Smith and Chris Froggatt, who of course will be starting from the second row of the grid. All the information at races.ferrari.com. That is the website where you can check it out. The weather conditions, many would argue, are very un-British-like because it's dry and it's reasonably warm. This 5.89 kilometre circuit is a tricky one to get right, that's for sure. And you would argue that perhaps some of the British drivers might have just the edge of by dint of the fact that they've raced here so many times before. That didn't necessarily play out in qualifying. Number of spectators are here, certainly into the tens of thousands to enjoy this Ferrari Racing Days event. And there you can see the air temperature is 18 degrees, track temperature is 28 degrees, and alongside me, top racing driver Olivier Beretta. Delighted to welcome you here to the commentary box at Silverstone, a track, of course, that you have driven in a number of cars, not only GT, but of course Formula One as well.
Hello to everyone. Yes, it's a special track. We have a very good weather. This track is amazing. It's very fast. And today, like I said, it's dry, so it should be a nice race, clean, hopefully. And hopefully, but it's always a pleasure to be in England. You know, it's home of motorsport. I have been there since a long time, and I always enjoy. And a special hello to all the fans in UK.
Well, glad that you are alongside us to bring us the racing driver's perspective of this really rather technical circuit. It's a big, big circuit, and it's the opportunity to really stretch the legs of these Ferrari 488 cars. Of course, first time ever in the Ferrari Challenge that we've had a turbocharged car. So the drivers have been telling me it's quite a different driving experience. When they swapped from the 458 to the 488, it took a bit of getting used to.
Yeah, you're right, because the 458 was not with the turbo, and this car has a turbo, is more fast and more powerful, but also the car has been improved from the 458.
Yes.
And the package is wonderful because the engine is quite easy to drive. It just takes a little time to adapt yourself with the turbo, but this is just a couple of hours and just to understand how the engine has to be used. But the overall package is more fast than the 458.
Absolutely, and when we look at the qualifying times from the dry session that the Trofeo Pirelli drivers enjoyed today and compare that to the fastest times of the 458, you're absolutely right. The cars are 2-3 seconds per lap quicker. I mean, that's an enormous jump, isn't it, actually?
Yeah, for sure. Pirelli has always developed the tires, so for sure the tires is quicker than the last year when there was the 458, but
yes.
The overall package with the engine and the chassis from the factory has been a huge step, and that's why we have a big difference from the 458 lap time.
Thank you very much, Olivier Beretta, then, who will be with us for the race. As we look at the grid, then, the Hublot safety car, of course, ahead of the cars, which its pole position to Daniele Di Amato. Philip Barron will go from alongside Daniele Di Amato, those two, P1 and P2. Then, because we have a mix here of pro drivers, of AM drivers, and we also have 3 or 4 of the old 458 cars that are competing as well. But Daniele Di Amato will be going from pole position, as I mentioned, Philip Barron alongside him. Then it's Chris Froggatt, the best of the AM drivers. We're at Silverstone. Some great shots of Silverstone there. 70 years of history. And some of the drivers that are taking part this weekend we are going to hear from right now. And they're British.
Hi, I'm Chris Froggatt, driver for HRO in the European Ferrari Challenge.
Hi, I'm Sam Smith. I'm a European champion, and welcome to Silverstone.
Welcome to the Ferrari Racing Days at Silverstone. This for me is my home race, so perhaps the one with the most pressure. I have a lot of friends and family coming to join to watch, so it should be an interesting one for me.
I'm very excited to be here. This is a home track for me, so it's the first event in the UK this calendar year. We've got a good experience here, so we're really anticipating some good results, and we're hoping to bring a trophy home later on.
Ferrari Racing Days, there's not only the Ferrari Challenge here today, we've got the XX programs and Formula One running also. I'll be also running my XX car this weekend, which should be an incredible experience alongside the challenge.
I'm really fortunate to be in the Ferrari Challenge. It's the best series that I've come across. You get looked after really well by Ferrari. They, you know, the food's great, the racing's not so bad, and the competitors are really friendly, so I've made loads of friends here, and I'm enjoying my time. But once we get out on the track, I'm trying to win. So.
Silverstone is arguably the best track in the UK. Lots of history here with all the Formula One, and it's a really fast circuit with many technical sections also. To drive here is really special.
My favourite part of the track is Maggots through to Beckett. You get to this really high-speed corners. The car responds nicely to that situation, so it's very exciting to run through those corners, and yeah, there's a lot of amount of adrenaline going through there.
Enjoy the weekend with me and all of the other drivers here at Silverstone.
Enjoy the Ferrari Racing Days.
Well, big thanks to Sam Smith and Chris Froggatt, who will be out on track in just moments from now. And Olivia and I were just having a discussion off the air. Chris Froggatt, whose car we look at right now, this guy, Olivia, started racing over the winter in the Middle East. Got his license, has come into the Ferrari Challenge, and you know he's in Trofeo Pirelli, which is for you know the best of the drivers. He's put the car P3 on the grid, and he's only been off the podium in this season 3 times.
Well, for sure, he has some good talent, because with no experience, well, not experience with a lot of years behind his seatbelt, he's putting the car on 3rd place. It's quite amazing, but it's also the beauty of this series.
Yes.
Because, like he said in his interview, there is many other activity with the FX6. Or the Ferrari K, or the Formula One, the Ferrari Challenge.
Yes.
Everyone was big passion of road car. Today it's always difficult to go high speed on the motorway.
Yes.
So it's the opportunity to come and to see how you feel behind the wheels and driving flat out, you know.
We love it. Thanks very much. Okay, the starting grid, as you can see then, so as I mentioned, Daniel D'Amato, pole position for him. Another good drive from Daniel D'Amato in qualifying. Then it's Philip Barron alongside. Then we get the 2 British drivers, Chris Froggatt and Sam Smith. Then it's Alessandro Vezzoni and Bjorn Grossman, Jens Liebhauser and Martin Nelson. Then it's Bonamy Grimes and Joshua Kartu, Christian Overgaard, Tommaso Roca. Then it's Per Nielsen, Valkan Rafa-Kinsey. Then it's Kriton Lendudis, Holger Harmsen, Galapata and Pali Kjaersgaard. That is the grid set for race number 1 here at the 5.89 kilometer Silverstone circuit. 18 turns, 9 of them right, 9 are left. So as is always the case with the Ferrari Challenge, it is a rolling start. The Hublot safety car will lead the cars away on the installation lap and the formation lap, whichever you choose to call it. And we're going to hear from the man that's sitting in pole position. Right now, it's Daniele Diamato.
Amazing qualifying, 7 pole position in a row. I'm very, very happy. Yesterday we was trying to find out the setup, and today was very, very good. Thanks for the team CDP, and in this fantastic circuit, the weather is cloudy, but we could be dry in race. Thank you.
So Daniele Diamato then, who will be going from pole position. And what's extraordinary about the success that Daniele is showing us is that in qualifying, the margin between P1 and P2 was something like 8/10, Olivia. Now that's a big, big margin, isn't it?
Well, Daniel is a quite very good driver. He's
Sure.
In the series, he knows very well the car, but he has a great talent and experience, and this is how should be when you want to do a pole.
I can remember, of course, years ago, he used to share the car with his father, Renato. Well, his father has stepped back now and has become much more management, and he's left the driving to Daniel. Now, Daniele is competing in other series as well. He's racing in the Porsche Super Cup, so the track time that he's getting is increasing and increasing, and therefore, you know, when I've spoken to racing drivers as good as yourselves, Olivier, it's that track time that's absolutely critical, isn't it?
Yes, it's like every sport, but everything in life, when you want to do it well, you have to practice a lot. For sure, you need to have talent, because if you don't know how to drive, it's impossible even with 1,000 of miles. But if you have a good talent, if you have a good feedback and you like and you have the passion, with track time, it's possible to reach a good result. But then after, to make 7 pole position means that you are good.
Yes. Well, he's going to be a tough man to beat in this race one, that's for sure. But we will see what happens as the cars are on their formation lap now then. So basically, they'll all back up behind the Hublot safety car. They'll get into grid order. Then it is a rolling start across the timing line here at Silverstone. They'll come out of the final turn, which is the club turn, turn number 18, onto what is now the international pits straight, which is where the wing complex is situated here at Silverstone. And there we can see Chris Froggatt then, who is the best of the British drivers, it has to be said, going from P3 on the grid. An AM driver who has just out-qualified his teammate, who is a pro driver, Sam Smith. So the 2 British drivers together on row 2 of the grid. And I'm guessing, Mr. Beretta, that if you're a team boss, having 2 drivers together on the same row of the grid, you know, it's almost your worst nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I think at his place, I would like to see the last lap and both cars all together.
Yeah, I think you're right. So there is the number 82 car that we can see of Pele Kjaersgaard, who will be bringing up the back of the grid. So here we have, let me explain to you, if you're new to the Ferrari Challenge, if the car has a white strip across the top of the windscreen, that means it's a pro driver. If it's got a black strip atop of the windscreen, it's an AM driver. And if at the back of the grid you see the blue strip, that means they're driving last year's 458 car, of which there are 3 in this race weekend. Ferrari Racing Days here at Silverstone. It is race 1 of the weekend to come from Trofeo Pirelli. They're all weaving from side to side, trying to generate some temperature into those Pirelli tyres. There's Holger Harmsen then in one of those 458 cars, the German driver. So they are heading now towards the start and the timing line. And it's Philip Barron from P2, but it's Daniele Diamato, his father Renato on screen, going from P1. We get the green, so let's go racing. A great start then from Daniele Diamato. Philip Barron slots into P2 as expected. It's Sam Smith ahead of his British teammate Chris Froggatt, who Sam Smith into P3 as the rest of the cars make their way through the first sequence of turns. It's through Abbey Farm Curve and heading towards Village right now. And then the loop, of course. as they go through. And thankfully all the cars getting away all okay right at the very start of this race. 30 minutes of race action to come from the Ferrari Challenge. These 488 cars, 3.9 litre V8 with the turbo power, and Galipata, who is the quickest of the 458 drivers, or has been on a number of occasions this year. And this is really interesting because Daniel D'Amato is not yet being able to break away from Philip Barron. There is Chris Froggatt, who is at P3, but being chased hard by Alessandro Vezzoni, who is P4. And behind Alessandro Vezzoni, it is Bjorn Grossman, the German driver. So Daniel D'Amato tries to break away, but I'm guessing, Olivia, it's critical if you're P2, P3, you've got to stay with that driver that's leading to keep with him.
Yeah, for sure. But what is nice is has been a clean, nice start from everyone, and everyone is now pushing to try to make a gap between each other. But all the cars are packed, and especially the first three are all nearly on the same lap time. It will be interesting to see who is going to make a little break after 3-4 laps when the temperature on tires will be ready. And then middle of the stint to see how who has the best setup on the tires.
Absolutely, that degradation will be critical here on a really, really long circuit like Silverstone. So D'Amato then, who is being hounded now by Philip Barron, who's staying with him. And Sam Smith trying to keep on the coattails, if you like, of Philip Barron as well. But D'Amato is not able to break away from Philip Barron at the moment as they enter what is the old national pit straight.
Well, it's quite fast because they are nearly all together, especially the first two.
That's extraordinary that Philip Barron is absolutely staying with Daniel D'Amato, and didn't expect necessarily to see that. Of course, they've gone through the international pit straight once again, passed through the wing complex, and D'Amato then, the margin between the two of them is merely 4/10, and I say merely 4/10 because that's as close as it has been recently. Daniel D'Amato, normally he does the start exactly right, and within a lap he's almost 9/10, maybe even a second ahead of P2. That's not the case today.
Yeah, and it's always much easier to be second than first, because the second one is just following and trying to catch time from the first. The first is always trying to get the best lap, the best rhythm, but with no reference.
Something that you and I were talking about as we look at the leader in the AM category, which is Chris Froggatt, who of course is P3, as they're down what is the old pit straight now, the one you will remember, and it's very, very romantic, isn't it? And then it's that sequence through Copse and heading towards Maggots. Everyone seems to like that Maggot sequence of chicanes. Is that as challenging as they all say it is?
Well, Silverstone, the new track, is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's long, it's fast, you have everything. And I have been lucky to race in different track like Silverstone, you know, the older days.
Yes.
And but every time we have the opportunity to race a car in Silverstone has been always a pleasure, which is the old one or the new one is always a special.
Okay. So Philip Barron then doing his level best for Rosso Corsa then to keep with the CDP engineered, the Charles Dupuy engineered Daniel D'Amato car. There is P1 and P2, and they are both now beginning to break away from that P3 driver, aren't they? So the pace from both P1 and P2 is astounding. And they cross once again the timing line. Let's see what the margin between them is. 8/10 between the two of them. And then there's a significant gap back to Sam Smith, who's running in P3. Then in P4, it's Chris Froggatt, Alessandro Vezzoni and Bjorn Grossman. Both pro drivers are following the AM driver, Chris Froggatt, who's doing a brilliant job to be in 3. There's Jens Liebhauser, the German driver, in car number 44. So Jens Liebhauser has a number of successes this season, and now Alessandro Vezzoni is coming under a bit of pressure from Bjorn Grossman, which is for P5. And yeah, you're picking up there that D'Amato, he just set the fastest lap of anyone, hasn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he's running really fast. It's 2:05.2 and the second in 2:05.6. That means he's doing a little break. It will be interesting to see in a few laps if he can get the same rhythm, but for sure if he's continue like this, he's looking good.
He's going to break away, isn't he? Well, Alessandro Vezzoni and Bjorn Grossman, they're not breaking away because they're in a fight all of their own at the moment as they go down the national pit straight now. Alessandro Vezzoni, who's running in P5, but he has Bjorn Grossman, of course, last year's champion, who is running right behind him. And Bjorn Grossman desperately trying to find a way past Alessandro Vezzoni, the Italian driver. And Alessandro Vezzoni, of course, he's in that perfect position of being ahead of Bjorn Grossman. What he's got to do is make the car as wide as possible and try and prevent Bjorn Grossman from coming by. And here they go, P1, P2, there's P3, then Chris Froggatt, who is running in P4. Then we get that battle between Alessandro Vezzoni and Bjorn Grossman. Now, if you're in that position, of course, he's hunting down the car ahead of him, but he's also got to be conscious of the fact that there's a car just lurking behind. And as we've seen in so many races, often when you're on the back of a pair of drivers that are fighting, you're in a great opportunity to take advantage once they start to fight.
Exactly. You just, in certain conditions, the best is to wait to see what the other two are going to do and to try to find a way to pass the two cars. But this is always the same story.
Yeah, of course, of course. There's Jens Liebhauser, and Martin Nelson is tucked in behind Jens Liebhauser. Martin Nelson, who's therefore running P3 in the AMS at the moment, but is P8 in the race overall, ahead of Christian Overgaard in P9, and then Bonamy Grimes, who is completing the top 10. We've got the first 7 minutes of the race already completed. Where has that time gone? And there you can see Daniel D'Amato, just every lap, he's just adding a 10th margin, isn't he? And he's just breaking away a little bit here from Philip Barron. And so the margin between the two of them now, as you can see, is 1.027 seconds. So D'Amato, just the back end of the car, stepping out a little bit there. His fastest lap, a 2:05.293. There's Sam Smith, the British driver then, in the Pro category. Last year, he won the AM category, and he won it with 3 or 4 races still to go, so it was a very, very good performance. Stepped up to the pro category this year, and I think, to be fair, Olivia, he's found it more difficult.
Well, but it's normal, but it's also a new challenge for him. You know, last year he won, so he wanted to have a new challenge, and it's a learning year. Maybe he's going to do well, but it's always nice to have a new challenge. You know, when you win, you have to move on.
Alessandro Vezzoni off the track, forgive me interrupting you. That means that he shortcutted that corner and didn't make it all the way around it. Now, that has given him a slight advantage there, and Bjorn Grossman has not been able to get by him. Now, that's something that the race control will look at. The race director will look at that and think if he's gained an advantage, he'll be penalised or warned, perhaps.
For sure, if you shoot a corner and to overtake your adversary, for sure they will sanction you. But in this case, I think he didn't gain, he didn't lose nothing.
No.
And there was no accident or no contact. I think for sure they will observe it, but they will not change anything. Anyway, he didn't have any space.
No, he ran out. He was run out of track, wasn't he?
Exactly. So sometimes it's better to do this kind of things than to want to stay online and make an accident.
Have a crash. That's absolutely, that doesn't benefit anyone, does it? So there is Alessandro Vezzoni then, who is running at the moment in P5, but he's P3 in the pro category. Here comes Bjorn Grossman, desperately trying to find a way past him, and Bjorn Grossman, the German driver, will do everything he can. He's all over the back of Alessandro Vezzoni now. Vezzoni is going to have to use the rearview mirror and try and make that car as wide as possible to try and prevent. And there's a problem there for Sam Smith. The number 92 car is dropping down the order. Sam Smith with an issue. There you can see the Sam Smith car. It's further back than it was. Chris Froggatt there, and still fighting with Alessandro Vezzoni is Bjorn Grossman. But I think there's a problem with the Sam Smith car.
Or maybe he just went wide and
Perhaps
have
a
some
mistake.
pickup and just need 2-3 corners to clean up his tires. Will be interesting. Now he's going back, so
You're
I think
right.
it was just a question of little mistake or just pick up on tires and clean up, and it looks like he's back on the race.
Well, here comes Bjorn Grossman and Alessandro Vezzoni. This is a fabulous fight that's going on between these two at the moment. And Bjorn Grossman, whatever he's been able to throw at Alessandro Vezzoni, he's not been able to find a way past. And it's all very well, isn't it, Olivia? You can be as quick as somebody,
I will be now. We can see what happened. Maybe went
Yeah.
strange.
No. You can be as quick as someone, can't you? And that's all very well, but you've still got to try and find a way past them. And you try and provoke a mistake, I guess.
Well, in this case, they are running nearly similar. It's just 1/10 difference between the two cars. So it's just trying to make pressure and to make mistake to the car in front. But it looks that doesn't happen. So keep pushing. But it's interesting to see in front, you know, D'Amato is still running fast. 2-3 tenths per laps quicker. Now
Yes.
his gap is 1.2. So, but he didn't give up. Baron is still there.
Yes. Now, thing is here, watching this particular battle for P3, Alessandro Vezzoni is keeping his cool. He's not making any mistakes. The man that's getting frustrated, of course, is Bjorn Grossman. And therefore, as he's more aggressive, he'll be taking more out of his tyres. So come the end of the race...
Yeah, you're right, but this is the key, you know, to try to put pressure on the car on the front, and it's working because look, now he has closed the gap, and I think it's clever, you know, he's just driving clean.
Yes.
And waiting the mistake of the 27 in front, and like we can see now, pit stop for the car that you were saying. Look.
He's right alongside him now, isn't he? So he'll try and get underneath the car now, but Alessandro Vezzoni knows exactly where to put that car to prevent Bjorn Grossman from coming past at the national pit straight now. So Grossman all over the back of Alessandro Vezzoni, and that Copse turn is is it absolutely flat out, Olivia?
No, it's not flat up. It's a little brake and downshift one gear, but this corner is really difficult because when you are behind the car, you lose all the aero from your front and you get understeer. And the only key is to try to do backends the most fast as you can to be on the toe for the overtaking on the straight line. But it's always difficult because there is only one line.
Okay.
But he has done a pretty good job because he's in his toe, and it will be interesting to see what's happened in. No, he will close well and will stay behind.
Hanger straight into Stowe. And what can Bjorn Grossman do? It's been a great battle to watch between these two, which has gone on for lap after lap after lap. Absolutely fantastic. About to complete another lap then. They've just got the Vale and Clubs turns to do. And again, Grossman right on him, isn't he? And down the international pit straight now. We're very nearly halfway through the race. And still these two remain utterly welded together. Just wonder whether Jens Liebhauser is getting a little bit closer to them now, potentially. And again, Alessandro Vezzoni really having to defend, and Bjorn Grossman trying very hard.
Well, it's nice, you know, because the car are all similar. It's all 488, so it's just a question of setup, feeling, driving, and the race are quite close. He's done it. He's done it. He's done it.
Well, that's been lap after lap of pressure, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's not finished. Now it will be interesting.
Brilliant. But I was mentioning there that I think as these two have fought, Jens Liebhauser has got ever closer as well, the really aggressive and feisty German driver. So it'll be interesting to see if he joins this little battle now as well.
Well, he is closing the gap because when you fight, obviously you don't do the clean line because one is defending, the other one is trying. So the third one has the clear way to catch back the distance.
Yes.
And that is what happened now. But should be interesting in few laps. But also to see how the tire pressure, the setup will be because we have halfway to the race.
Yes.
And now the difference on setup should be should come.
That's a super slow-mo of Bjorn Grossman in the Octane 126 car. Boy, they were close.
More close you are, more interesting is it.
Yes, you're right. And that was how he did it, eventually managing to get past Alessandro Vezzoni. So great driving from Bjorn Grossman. And Jens Liebhauser has got past Alessandro Vezzoni now. So Vezzoni has lost 2 places in the space of the last couple of laps. So
everyone is pushing on the limit, but this is also the beauty of this category because everyone is racing with the same car.
Yes,
it's just a question to work out something with your engineer. Okay.
And that's the reason why good car control from Alessandro Vezzoni. He held it all together. There is our race leader's father, Renato D'Amato, then, and When he's on the team radio, what will he be doing? Encouraging his son, or will his son be doing a Kimi and saying, "Go away, I know what I'm doing"?
Well, it's always the same deal, you know. It's always much simpler to sit down in the chair and watch the TV than to be on the racing car
Yes,
and
of course.
on the action. But for sure, they have raced together. They have a good relationship. So the dad will try to help the son. But at the end of the day, when you are in the car, you are by yourself. So I think the dad is more stressed than the son in the car.
You're probably right. To be fair, Philip Barron has done a good job here, because the margin between the two of them is only 2 seconds. Now, I say that as if it's something very, very special, but trust me, over some of the races we've seen where Daniele D'Amato has just disappeared into the distance rather, but what he has been doing is he's been nailing every lap, because of course he's under no pressure. He can get every apex right, and he can just focus and concentrate on what he's doing. Whereas Philip Barron, of course, who's always just a little bit more ragged, it's just the style of driver. Philip will throw absolutely everything at it, but is still not able to stick with him.
Well, it's 2 second gap between the two cars. I think it will be difficult to catch back, because when we look the lap time, he's always 2 tenths, 4 tenths quicker. So
Yeah.
if he doesn't make mistake or has no problem in the car, I think it's 13 minutes left. It will be difficult, but it's like all races. You only win when you pass the checker flag. So.
Sure. And there is Chris Frogger, who is P3 in the race overall and is leader in the AM category. He's being, well, it's been an extraordinary race for Chris Frogger, who lost out to Sam Smith right at the start of the race, and we go on board with him now. This is a brilliant onboard shot as he takes the curbs now and crossing the timing line now, heading up towards turn number 1, which is the Abbey turn. Just clips the curb. Make sure you take the curb and not the painted green on the inside or the grass. He does the same through Farm, and then heavy braking for Village, which is turn number 3. Turns the car in, gets it rotated perfectly, and then just a quick blast of throttle before turning into the loop here. And then from the loop, it's just the Aintree turn to do before he can give it an absolute footfall down the Wellington Straight and underneath the bridge.
And it's also nice to have a race with sun, you know.
Yes.
We don't have rain. We have a beautiful weekend, even for tomorrow. We have a 3 day of sunny, so the summer is back.
Yes, absolutely. It's the September, and this particular date in September, my wife said it's always nice. It was our wedding weekend, and she chose the weekend because the sun always shines on this day in September, Mr. Beretta. So there you go. Now you know why.
Okay, I didn't know that. So if I have to make holiday, I will
That's
call
the
you.
one.
I will call you, and you will give me the date, and I will come, and I will have a sun.
Yeah, I think it's my missus rather than me, to be honest, but there we are.
So I will call your wife.
Yes, please do. Here's our race leader then, and this is the P2 driver. Now, what's interesting here, this is Philip Barron, and just behind Philip Barron now is the number 82 car, which is a Palais Kiersgaard, which is actually a backmarking car. So extraordinarily, at just maybe 2/3 distance in the race, there is some traffic now because we're getting to the backmarking cars. So next up the road will be Gallup Attar and then Creton Lendudis for the race leaders to come across. But there is our race leader, Daniele D'Amato. It's an extraordinary run of success that this man has had. Of all the races that he's competed in, he's been on the top step of the podium bar one.
And also in the last lap, he has been 4 tenths quicker, so
Okay.
he's still flat out, trying to make the best as is possible, but he's doing a great race. But it's always the same, you know, when you are leading, even if you have a gap, you always want to have more, you know, just
Okay.
in case something happen or you make mistake. More time you have in your pocket, better is it.
You've raced in single-seaters, GTs, endurance, of course, everything. Is there ever, in a racing driver's mind, Olivia, is there ever a comfortable gap? Is it always you want more, or do you always think, oh, well, do you know what, if I've got 2.5 seconds, I can afford to make a tiny error, or, you know, there's no magic figure, is there, in terms of what's comfortable?
Well, it's always depending of how the race go, but it's always also a feeling that you have on your car, because sometimes you can have a gap, but you can feel that your tires is going away.
Right.
So you have to manage it. But if you feel that your car is still fast and your tires are fine, and your rhythm is out doing anything crazy and you are still fast, you try to have the more time in your pocket that is possible.
Right. Always want more. We're standing by and being on board now with Chris Froggatt, the HRO and driver then, who the car is engineered, of course, by the FF Corsa team, which are based here at Silverstone. And there is Tommaso Rocca in the number 97 car. Tommaso Rocca had a big off during one of the free practice sessions, but thankfully the Rosso Corsa team able to put the car back together again, and good to see Tommaso Rocca back out there on track and battling for P5 in the AMS with Josh Cartu. And there is Josh Cartu in the number 30 car then, who is running in that P5 position at the moment for Ferrari Budapest. Of course, we've had a race, 2 races in Budapest this year, and it was Josh Cartu's first podium was actually at Budapest. So when it's your home race and you're taking a podium at your home race, that's something very special to feel, isn't it?
Well, this I think for everyone who has been on the racetrack, when it's your home track, home race, and to get back at home at night with the podium is the best things that can happen. What happened there?
Yeah, so
48.
spinning out at the back there was the Volkan Raufekensi Kessel car. So that was just a mistake on Volkan's part. He made an error and the car spat him out, as it were. Regrettably, whatever the problem with Sam Smith's car was, it's terminal, because he's in the pit lane and has not reappeared again. And that will be a bitter blow, because of course it's his home race where he had high hopes. We saw him in our program being interviewed right at the start of the race, and you know that will be a tough one to swallow, won't it?
But it's part of racing, you know. You have good days, you have bad days. The important thing is don't give up, and
Sure.
We'll see in the next race.
So Tommaso Rocca then in the number 97 car. The best of the 458s is Holger Harmsen, the German driver, who's running in P14 in the race overall, but he's the best of the 458s. Here's Joshua Cartu then, still showing a clean pair of heels to Tommaso Rocca. They're running P9 and P10 in the race overall, but of course they're in their own little battle for the final podium place in the AM category.
7 minutes to go.
So there is, as I mentioned, the best of the 458s was Holger Harmsen, but Holger Harmsen, I think, has just been passed by Kriton Lendudis. So Kriton Lendudis in the 241 car there, unless Holger Harmsen is so far ahead of him, a lap ahead. I don't see that, to be honest with you. So Kriton Lendudis and Holger Harmsen then, as I mentioned right at the start of the program, these drivers are driving last year's 458 Evo car. Just still a very, very phenomenal racing car. But of course the Ferrari 488, which is this year's car, is driven by most of the drivers who are out there on track in the Trofeo Pirelli at the moment. So there we can see Kriton Lendudis in car number 241.
But it's good also when you have a 458 and you don't want to buy, or you don't have the budget, you can still race on the series. So that is good.
Yes, I can remember some really, really good races when the 458 was first introduced, and there were a number of drivers that were still running that, what I still think is a gorgeous looking car, the 430 car. I thought that was lovely, and a number of drivers still used that up against the 458s. But of course, every time a new car is introduced, there's further evolution, isn't there? And it goes just a bit quicker, it's a bit more powerful, and this 488 car is phenomenal.
The 458 car, even on the road, is a beautiful car. It's like everything, when you have a new product, it should be faster. And this is what we see today.
So Galipatar then, the Turkish driver in the Octane 126 car, which is actually the car that won the championship before the introduction of the 488. That was Bjorn Grossman's old car, if you like, for the Octane 126 team. We go on the pit wall there as the Ineco MP Racing team monitor absolutely everything on the timing screen. And Daniele Diamato has maintained that 2-second gap over Philip Barron. And the lap times are getting a bit closer, are they?
Yeah, but still, he's still 2-3 tenths faster, so it's 5 minutes to go. and he looks fast like at the beginning of the race. I think if he doesn't have any problem or mistake or
Yes.
some issue, I think he should be 2 more laps and he should be okay.
The drivers tell me that with these tyres that they don't they reach a point of degradation and they kind of stay there. They plateau out so that they give the same performance in the later stages of the race. They don't suddenly drop off a cliff. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, but Pirelli did a good job too, because 488 is faster, but they have done a good development on the tires to
Yes.
adapt that on the car, and the driver can push for sure. It's not like the lap 1 when the tires are fresh, but it's consistent, it's fast, and we can see on the lap time. The last lap, Baron Philippe did 6.8.
Wow,
So
yes.
little mistake maybe from D'Amato, or he's just cruising to the checker flag. It's 4 minutes to go. Should be 2 laps.
Josh Cartu and Tommaso Roca continuing to battle. Here they come. And there was the back-marking Palek Kiersgaard car there. And here comes Tommaso Roca then trying to get out of the tow of the car of Joshua Cartu. Does he manage to go through? No, he doesn't. So the battle for P5 in the AM. Forgive me, I said P3 earlier on. Of course not, it's P5. And there we can see the Martin Nelson car. Martin Nelson currently running P7 in the race overall. He's up the road ahead of Joshua Cartu and Tommaso Roca. So 3.5 minutes of the race remaining. Where's the race gone? It's just flown away, the 30 minutes really. And Joshua Cartu then doing everything he can to try and hold on to that position. Tommaso Roca furiously flashing his lights. And the objective of doing that is just to try and get the driver to lose just a millisecond of concentration, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a key to make pressure, but I don't think it will work.
It never works, does it? But
No.
everyone still does it.
No, I will close you more.
So D'Amato then, who's got 2.8 seconds over Philippe Baron. And here comes this battle for P5 in the AMs there between Joshua Cartu and Tommaso Roca. It's the actual battle for P9 in the race overall as well. And Joshua Cartu at the moment has been able to show a clean pair of heels to Tommaso Roca, but they are oh so close. It's certainly the closest battle that is going on in the race at the moment, as around goes the 45 car of Christian Overgaard. Whoa. That must be a heart in the stomach moment. And Christian Overgaard has got round and he might not lose out of place here. He was just ahead of Josh Cartu. Here's Jens Liebhauser in the number 44 car. And if Overgaard has been able to hold on to that place, that will be a big save.
In Beckett is not the best place to have a spin.
Whoa. So,
Let's see.
oh, there we are. Just on the back of Martin Nelson. And just a complete 360.
Back on track.
Extraordinary. Daniel D'Amato then, once again, has not put a foot wrong, it would appear. And his margin is just 2 1/1000ths off of 3 seconds, or it was last time around.
Last lap.
His last lap, a 2:07.247, as opposed to Philippe Baron's, which was an 0.7316. So, again, I'm very impressed with Philippe Baron that he's been able to keep within a couple of seconds of Daniel D'Amato, but he's just had the edge, hasn't he? This CDP engineered car and driver combination. The car looks good, the car looks really, really settled, and the driver is doing a great job as well, because you can have the best car in the world, Olivia. You've got to pedal it, haven't you?
Well, it's like everything. It's a good group of mechanics, a good engineer, a good driver, a good group. No one make a difference, it's a group team, and the result always come with everyone who is in the team.
And we do see that. The teams all win and lose and share the same emotion as the driver that's out there driving the car. And Rosso Corsa will be super proud of Philippe Baron, who's done a really, really good job to try and take the race to Daniele D'Amato, but has just not been able quite to close it. We're into the final lap now.
Yeah.
Is it when you get to the final lap that you think, oh, come on, Philippe Baron must be thinking, just I want one mistake from you. One mistake is all I need.
Yeah, the leading one wants to have the checker flag the quickest as possible, and the second one is waiting the mistake.
Yes. So Bjorn Grossman then, who is running in P5 in the race. This will be a phenomenal finish for Chris Froggatt, the car that we look at now. He's the leading AM driver, but he's actually P3 in the race overall. So that basically means, of course, that he'll be in the main race podium by dint of being the third driver, which is supreme. Great drive from Chris Froggatt, the British driver who Olivia and I were talking about at the start of the program. For someone with relatively little race experience, he's driving beyond himself, that's for sure.
Yeah, no mistake, fast, and make the podium. I mean, we cannot ask for more.
So Bjorn Grossman has got past Chris Froggatt. So Chris Froggatt now is going to be P1 in the AMS. P2 in the AMS is going to be Jens Liebhauser. Then it'll be Alessandro Vezzoni, who's a pro driver, so he'll be off the podium, but Martin Nelson will be on the podium for P3 in the AMS. On the final lap then is Daniele Diamato.
Yeah,
heading
Beckett's corner.
Yes.
Straight line. I think
is that one of the most thrilling parts of the Silverstone circuit?
It's a beautiful.
Yes.
It's a beautiful S's. Difficult, technical, but fantastic to drive.
So there is our race leader then, Daniele Diamato. Then
two corner.
Stowe, and then blip on the throttle. Then heading towards Vale, and then Club, and then it will be done.
Nearly job done. I think his dad will be more relaxed now.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you're right. He heads towards the checkered flag to take yet another win. Daniele Diamato wins from Philip Barron, who takes P2. And P3 will be going the way of Bjorn Grossman, but he is let me get this right. He is 28 seconds back. Is that right? No, 18 seconds back. No, I was right.
No, yeah.
I mean, a long, long way back. Oh, and interestingly, there is the number 92 car of Sam Smith, who did get the car back out going again. So whatever issue they had, they did manage to solve it and get him back out there, which of course will deliver valuable data for race 2 tomorrow, but ain't going to be the result that he would have wanted. Here comes Jens Liebhauser then, who will take P2 in the AM category. Alessandro Vezzoni crosses the line P6. Then it's going to be Martin Nelson who'll take the final step of the AM podium, assuming Christian Overgaard has not managed to get past him, but he's trying as Martin Nelson makes the car as wide as possible. Here comes Christian Overgaard as they head towards the line.
Nice.
Whoa.
Nice.
Bear in mind, Overgaard had gone round just a lap or so ago, hadn't he?
Photo finish.
Yes, brilliant. So there we have it then, the podium set. Diamato, Barron and Grossman will be seeing in the pros. For the AMS, it will be Froggatt, Liebhauser, and by the skin of his teeth, Martin Nelson. Oh, what a great race. There is Palek Kiersgaard then in the number 82 car that will take the checkered flag. And we're also waiting for Per Nielsen, Kriton Lendudis, Holger Harmsen. And it will be Kriton Lendudis who will be best of the 4.58s ahead of Holger Harmsen. There was only a second between the two of them, though, so this could be another fight to the finish as Holger Harmsen then takes a look at the inside. It is just one turn to do, and whatever Holger Harmsen throws at it now, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. It is going to be Kriton Lendudis that will take the podium for the 4.58 cars. And Holger Harmsen there immediately with his arm out of the window. There comes Galip Attar, who will take P3 in the 4.58s. And all the cars have crossed the timing line. So what was really, really great about that race was all good, clean race action, wasn't it? No crashes, no problems.
And some fight, good overtaking.
Yes.
Just some spin, but make action. But the race was clean, hard, with a beautiful weather in one of the best tracks that we have in motorsport.
So what can we look forward to seeing you driving across the weekend, Mr. Beretta? What will you be in across this 70th anniversary weekend at Silverstone?
Oh, I don't know yet, but for sure I will do some lap in the Ferrari K.
Yes.
Maybe some lap in the Formula One, I don't know yet, depending on some customer. But I hope tomorrow all of UK fans will come to see each other. It's always nice to see also the old Formula One.
Of course, and to hear the old Formula One.
Exactly. It's always nice to have a real sound of motor.
Listen, thanks so much for being with us. I know you've got other stuff to go. We can't appreciate you enough for being with us. You can be on your way and do whatever else you've got to do. But thanks so much for joining us. And Olivia and I will be working together tonight again, actually, as we announce the calendar for 2018. So very much looking forward to that. Big, big thanks to Olivia Beretta then being alongside us. Fantastic. Here is the top three in each category then. It's D'Amato, Barron and Grossman for the pros. It's Froggatt, Liebhauser and Nelson for the AMs. And in the 458s, it's Lendudis, Harmsen and Galopata. What a race. Facebook.com/Ferrari or races.ferrari.com. Lots of places where you can check out the action for Ferrari Challenge and find out all the information that you could possibly want to know. So 2 podiums to come then. Podiums for the pro drivers, for the AM drivers, and also we'll see one of the race-winning 458 driver up on the podium as well. So Mr. Dupuy then, the CDP team boss, congratulating their driver Daniele D'Amato. So Renato and Daniele there.
Silverstone, race 1, Trofeo Pirelli.
He has taken the win and taken it in style, as we have seen so many times from Daniele D'Amato this year. Fantastic driving. Other than a P2, he's won every race that he's entered in the Ferrari Challenge this year. Philip Barron tried to take it to him though. Good pace from Philip Barron, but just not quite enough. Good for Alessandro Vezzoni as well to take a P3. So cars making their way back into the Parc Fermé area. So lots going on here at Silverstone. And here comes just a little taster of the Ferrari show. Of course, it is Bjorn Grossman that will be on the third step of the podium in the pro category. Alessandro Vezzoni actually taking P4. There is Chris Froggatt, Martin Nelson, and Jens Liebhauser all congratulating down there in the AM category. And there, the back end of the CDP car of Daniele D'Amato. So Jens Liebhauser then, who we've had the pleasure of having alongside us, as indeed Olivia Beretta was just a few moments ago. Jens Lieber has taken his turn on the air as well and did a good job for us. And he'd prefer to be up there on the podium, and of course that is where he is going, because Jens Liebhauser P2 in the AM category. Ahead of him though, Chris Froggatt is the AM winner. So as the graphics indicate then, we'll be heading up to the podium shortly. For 2 podiums then, the AM podium and the Pro podium as well. And the cars all lined up there in the Parc Fermé area. Just below, or just above, is the podium that they'll be appearing on, which is just to the left of our commentary position here in the wing complex here at Silverstone. good number of people to enjoy the 70th anniversary celebrations as part of Ferrari Racing Days here at Silverstone. And their classification of the pro drivers: D'Amato, Barron, Grossman, Vezzoni, and of course Sam Smith takes P5, even though he was some 3 laps down. So good to get Sam Smith back out on track once again. There's Bjorn Grossman. Here comes Philip Barron. Michele Mambrelli then brings the drivers out onto the podium. And Daniele's father, Renato, up there representing the CDP team. And
we are ready for the national anthem.
National anthem time now as Kriton Lendoudis joins us. Well, for the moment, whatever, we can't hear the national anthem, and Daniele D'Amato tries to conduct everyone in the audience below to sing the national anthem. Okay, slight technical error there, down there on the podium. The national anthem hasn't happened yet.
The trophy are presented by Mr. Francesco Bianchi, President Ferrari Europe and Africa, for the third on the podium.
Francesco Bianchi then making the trophy presentations.
Mr. Francesco Bianchi for Bjorn Grossman.
So Bjorn Grossman takes his trophy.
The trophy for the second driver, Philip Barron on the podium. Mr. Bianchi, President Ferrari Europe and Africa, Philip Barron, and for the winner, Daniele D'Amato, the winner of race 1, Silverstone. Team CDP, Renato D'Amato for Team CDP. And Pirelli Trophy, Mr. Teo Meyer, Pirelli Competizioni, for Daniele D'Amato, the winner, Trofeo Pirelli. And Teo Meyer, the chief of Pirelli Competizioni Ferrari Challenge, and Mr. Francesco Bianchi for the Pirelli Trophy 458, Mr. Kriton Lendoudis. Trofeo Pirelli, Teo Meyer for Kriton Lendoudis, 458 trophy.
So Michele Mambrelli then allowing him to do all the trophy presentation announcements, because had perfect sound quality of him if we didn't have perfect sound quality of the national anthem.
Up your trophy, please, or up your trophy, up your trophy. Okay, up.
We will have this Trofeo Pirelli podium, and then hopefully we have sufficient time to stay on air for the Copa Shell, beg your pardon, for the AM podium. Here, super slow-mos of the top 3. Bjorn Grossman takes P3. P2 goes the way of Philip Barron. And P1 to Daniele D'Amato. So, AM podium to come then. Here, the super slow-mo of Kriton Lendoudis, the best of the 458 cars for Formula Racing. And there, Daniele D'Amato on the podium along with Bjorn Grossman. In the Drivers' Championship then, 153 points for Daniele D'Amato, with Philip Barron on 105 and Sam Smith on 97 points. So Martin Nelson's on the third step of the podium. Jens Liebhauser And Chris Froggatt then brings it home for the UK by being on the top step of the podium for the AM classification. Bet we won't have a problem with this national anthem.
Trophy are presented by Mr. Francesco Bianchi.
Francesco Bianchi once again then on the podium presentation duties. First of all to Mr. Martin Nelson.
First race Pirelli AM class. Jens Liebhauser for the second place.
Jens Liebhauser then takes P2.
And the winner trophy for Chris Froggatt.
And Chris Froggatt takes the win. Very good performance from Chris Froggatt. And there's his team, FF Corsa down there. Of course, based here at Silverstone as well.
Last one, Trofeo Pirelli, Mr. Theo Meyer with Pirelli trophy for Chris Froggatt.
So Theo Meyer then from Pirelli, who's always never present at the Ferrari Challenge. Often see him on the paddock, around the paddock on his bicycle.
Step up your trophy for photos and video. This is the second podium today.
So the AM podium then with Chris Froggatt, Jens Liebhauser and Martin Nelson. Who's going to be the quickest with the champagne? It's got to be Jens Liebhauser there. He was there ahead of anybody else. Martin Nelson, Chris Froggatt. The teams down below the podium getting soaked as well. Fantastic stuff. We've seen great races from both the AM drivers and the pro drivers too. And Jens Liebhauser there.
And now I remind you.
There we have it then. First race done and dusted. We have a Copa race still to come, of course, as we take the slow-mos of the top three in the AM category. Martin Nelson took P3. P2 for Jens Liebhauser.
We are waiting. Okay, Holland.
And it's P1 to go the way of Chris Froggatt. A super slow-mo of the podium celebrations also. Great to see. Martin Nelson getting right into it there, and he'll be joining us for the next race. Actually, Martin Nelson, the Copa race 1 at 1500 GMT, so he'll be in quite a good temper, to be fair, by having taken the podium in that Trofeo Pirelli race AM category. So let's take a look at the highlights right now. So the tension began to build right at the start of race number 1. And as the lights went green, everyone expected Daniel D'Amato to be up the road. And whilst he was, Philip Barron was giving chase and would continue to give chase for a lot of the race. Bjorn Grossman and Alessandro Vezzoni were having one of the closest and tightest battles out on track, and Vezzoni ran out of room and therefore had to take to the runoff area, but stayed ahead of Bjorn Grossman. No advantage gained or lost, but eventually the pressure from Bjorn Grossman would play out and allow the German driver to get ahead of the Italian Alessandro Vezzoni. Whatever Philip Barron was able to throw at Daniel D'Amato, Daniel just quietly went about his job, gaining tenths here and there. There was a spin for Christian Overgaard in the number 45 car. And he held on to it beautifully, and with that fine, fast 360, didn't lose a place. Daniel D'Amato scored another very, very commanding win. Martin Nelson was on the podium for the AMs, but Daniele D'Amato Took the win for the pros, and taking the win for the AMs was Chris Froggatt from Great Britain. So there we have it. Join us for the Copa Shell race from Silverstone for now. Bye-bye.